It all started when we found this old Honda Civic, abandoned, rusted, and long forgotten. This wasn't just any car. It was a 1999 Honda Civic that had seen better days. Its paint had faded, the engine was seized, and it was buried under layers of mud and rust. But beneath the wear and tear, we saw potential. We were determined to breathe new life into this forgotten gem. The first step in the process was to extract the car from its resting place. It had been left in the mud for years, so we had to be careful. A crane was brought in to lift the car, making sure not to damage the fragile frame. With a creak and groan, the old Civic was freed from the mud, revealing its true state. Dented, rusted, and clearly in need of major repairs. The mud, however, hid a few surprises, including the original paint, which was still visible under all the dirt. The next phase was to inspect the car thoroughly. We placed it on a lift and started going over it with a fine-tooth comb. The rust had eaten away at much of the undercarriage, including the floor panels. The suspension was shot, and the engine, well, it wasn't going anywhere. But despite the heavy damage, we weren't ready to give up on it. We had a vision. Step 1 of our restoration: disassembly. Every part of the car was carefully removed, one piece at a time. First, we started with the interior. The seats were ripped, the carpets were stained with years of moisture, and the dashboard was cracked. We carefully removed everything, stripping the car down to its bare bones. With the interior removed, we could focus on the heart of the car, the engine bay. We drained the fluids, disconnected all the wires, and carefully removed the seized engine. It wasn't going to be reused. Instead, we had a much more powerful replacement in mind. But before we could even think about putting a new engine in, we needed to address the body and frame. The rust had to go. We spent hours sanding down the affected areas, using special rust removal chemicals to ensure the metal was clean and free of corrosion. The worst sections were cut out and replaced with fresh metal. The frame was inspected for structural integrity, and once we were confident it was sound, we used specialized tools to realign any misaligned sections. Now, with the bodywork progressing, it was time to focus on upgrading the mechanical components. The original suspension was long past its prime, so we replaced it with a set of high-performance coilovers. The new suspension would offer better handling and a smoother ride, which was essential for this car's transformation. Next, we turned our attention to the brakes. The old, worn-out braking system was replaced with high-performance discs, rotors, and stainless steel braided lines. We wanted the car to stop just as well as it would accelerate, ensuring it had the performance to match its looks. With the mechanical components well on their way, we began preparing for the engine swap. The Civic's original 1.6-liter engine wasn't going to cut it for the performance goals we had. After much deliberation, we chose to install a K-Series engine. Known for its performance, reliability, and potential for modification, the K-Series was the perfect choice to breathe new life into this Civic. Installing the new engine wasn't easy. The engine mounts had to be modified to accommodate the new power plant. The wiring harness had to be updated to support the K-Series ECU, and various sensors and components were integrated to ensure everything would work seamlessly. After hours of work, the new engine was securely in place, ready to power this Civic into a new era. Now that the heart of the car was ready, we focused on the exterior. The body was sanded down to remove all imperfections, and a fresh layer of primer was applied to protect the metal from future corrosion. The car was then painted in a glossy metallic blue, a shade that would complement the modern look while paying homage to the Civic's roots. With the paint job complete, the car was reassembled. The interior was rebuilt with new, high-quality materials. We installed sportier seats, new carpeting, and a modern dashboard complete with a new steering wheel and performance gauges. The sound system was upgraded, featuring a touchscreen head unit and Bluetooth connectivity for a more modern driving experience. Finally, the finishing touches were added. New custom wheels were installed, and the car was lowered to give it an aggressive stance. A ceramic coating was applied to the paint to ensure it would shine for years to come. The Civic had transformed from a rusted, abandoned vehicle into a high-performance modern classic. After weeks of hard work, the moment had finally arrived, the test drive. The engine roared to life with the push of a button. As we cruised down the road, we could feel the power of the new K-Series engine. Guys, subscribe.